I'm so happy to be here in this lovely auditorium. This is awesome. My name is Nicole Rodriguez. I am the Director for Community Standards and Student Conduct. And pretty much, I don't want to see you no more after today until graduation. That's a deal? Because I'm not the lady you want to see on campus when we're talking about student conduct. I do have my own little personal story to share. I am also a two-time Kane alumni. I have my undergrad and master's degree from Kane University, and I've actually been working here for the past 19 years. So there's endless possibilities. So welcome to Kane. Kane is going to offer you a lot of great opportunity, and I am so happy to be here. Someone did not show me how to work this. Okay, here we go. Okay. So what I'm here today to talk to you about is the Student Code of Conduct. So primarily, everywhere you go in life, you are going to have a set of rules to obey, correct? And why do you think we have rules? Anybody in the audience want to answer that? What's that? To follow them, obviously, yes. But what do rules do? Right? They prevent chaos. Thank you for that shout out in the back. Yes, it prevents chaos. So our Student Code of Conduct outlines all of the rules and policies that we have here at Kane University for the most part with regards to what we feel a real community is. My division of student affairs is really about student development, and we really want to make sure that the time that you're here, you have a sense of what community means. And I really like audience engagement, so you have an opportunity to earn your first piece of Kane paraphernalia. I have some really nice t-shirts over there. So I have an opportunity for you all to get a couple of, a t-shirt each. I have 5, because we have 5 shared values. So our shared values, we don't really call them rules. We call them shared values because these are things that we feel as an institution, we want you to incorporate into your lives. Not very crazy rules, community values, very simple, and probably things you value in your own life as well. So like I said, I have the opportunity for 5 individuals to get a t-shirt. So I do like to engage the audience and ask a little bit for them to help me define what these values mean. So without using integrity in the definition, who would like to tell me what integrity means? Yes. Yeah, no cheating, no plagiarism, be honest. Yes, so if you would like, you can come up and pick a t-shirt over there. I have small, medium, large, and extra large. Yes, thank you very much for that. So integrity means being honest. Clearly, if you plagiarize or cheat, those are forms of academic integrity violations. That's actually handled a little bit differently at this institution, although violations of dishonesty are also violations of the code. If you happen to cheat or plagiarize in an academic class, that goes through a different process. Maybe you fail the particular test, the exam, the paper, what have you. Maybe you fail the whole entire class. That would go through your faculty and through the academic affairs office. But falsifying documents, not being honest, those are things that could be labeled as integrity violations for the Code of Conduct. What about fairness? Who would like to give me the definition for fairness? To treat everyone fair around you. But what does fair mean? I'm sorry? To be equal, right. Please come up and get your shirt. So yes, we can look at fairness as being equal. I really love this graphic. Fair isn't about everybody getting the same thing. So we can look at fairness and equal as really being 2 different things. Fair is about everyone getting what they need in order to be successful. And I know a lot of you may have seen this graphic, but this one actually takes it 1 step further. So we have equality and equity. Equality is everyone getting the exact same thing. So we see here 3 guys, they're trying to see a game. You give them all the same size box. That's equal. But that poor little guy in the purple shirt, he still can't see the game, right? So how equal is that? The fair thing or the equitable thing to do is maybe the taller person doesn't get a box and the shorter person gets 2. Now this one takes us a little step further when we talk about liberation. And how about, you see, let's just take down the fence altogether. And what that means here, taking down that fence means breaking down those barriers, the things that get in the way of our success. And fairness for intentions of the code really mean if you don't give me an opportunity to talk to you about what's happened, there's no way we can work through the situation. So going back to the slides now, let's talk about community. What does community mean? I have a hand all the way there in the back. Yes. Yes. Working in union with the people around you. Yes, please come get your t-shirt right up here in the front. Yes, working together. Community is a group of individuals with common interests that all have the same values. You all are here. You all have one thing in common, right? You all have transferred from another institution. So you all are definitely a smaller community here at Kane. When we talk about community with regards to the code, what we're talking about is having respect for the classroom environment, even though respect is another value. It's about understanding that you are not alone here on this campus. You'll be incorporated with 14,000 other individuals, thousands of other individuals on a daily basis. So we're not disrupting classroom environment. We're not, littering on the ground. Well, in all the years I've been doing this, no one has ever been written up for littering, but I know Dr. Farai doesn't want people throwing things on the ground. So please use the trash receptacles. That is what we mean by community. And as you become more engaged in the campus community and the culture, it probably will take you some time to learn what that means. One thing I do know about our Kane students is that, excuse me, they like to have a voice. There's a lot of things going on in the world, the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter, immigration, politics, there's a lot of stuff going on. And one thing I know, again, about our Kane students is that they like to have a voice about what's going on. And oftentimes you will see groups of students gathered, but when those students are gathered and they're having that voice, one thing they do have to understand, for everything I believe, there is someone who believes just the opposite. So we want to make sure we're providing a safe environment for students to gather, to have a voice, to be heard, that they're doing it in a safe way. So we're not blocking doors, we're not causing riots, we're not causing large groups of people to gather that we can't control. We would really like a heads up if students are going to get together. We definitely have certain spaces here on campus, like the clock tower outside of the Myron Student Center, different places about campus that we do encourage students to have this open community forums, but we want you to do that through a process. So please stay connected with what those processes are. Please make sure you're following all the rules. And what does respect mean? Oh my gosh, we got a lot of hands for respect. I'm gonna go right here in the front. Yes, to treat people well, not to be rude. Correct, very good. Come get your shirt. Thank you. So we are a very respectful community here at Kane. Kane University is one of the most diverse institutions in the state of New Jersey. We can look at the room and see how diverse of an institution we really are. And one thing we do know is that we're always respectful of gender, sexual preference, religious choices, political beliefs, affiliations, etc. We respect that. So we are not bullying, we are not intimidating, we're not threatening, causing arguments or fights. This is behavior that we definitely do not tolerate and will definitely have to go through a process. Our sexual misconduct policy is also under respect. And please understand, I'm probably one of the most frankest people here on campus. A lot of things that we'll talk about and discuss through this presentation that may be uncomfortable. I have been in so many situations while I've been here at Kane. I'm unshockable. I talk about a lot of different things on a daily basis. So if anyone is affected by anything of what I have to say, please, if you feel the need to get up and walk out, please do so. Responsibility. I'm going to take somebody from the back. Yes. Okay, if we can think of one word to replace with responsibility, what would that one word be? I'm asking her. I'm sorry? How you respond to something, yes, but I'm looking for you to give me that one word. What's that one word you'd use to replace with responsibility? To be able to handle the duty. Oh, in other words, to do what you need to do. Correct. Okay, please come up and get your shirt. I'm looking for one word. Yes, all the way in the back with the white shirt. Accountable. Thank you. You can come up and get a shirt too. Yes, accountable. That is my most favorite word in the dictionary, accountable. Every student that comes to my office, all I'm asking you for is just to hold yourself accountable. I have to hold myself accountable. We all have to hold ourselves accountable. So violations of responsibility are alcohol policies there. As Dr. Farahi said it, we don't allow alcohol. We'd rather you have coffee. Coffee can kind of freak people out too sometimes, but yes, we'd rather have you coffee instead of alcohol. I did notice we had a hands raised of students that will be living on campus and those that will be living commuting. That's an important thing to know because as I speak to those students who will be living here on campus, residential students have an additional set of responsibilities with regards to community values that they have to adhere to because they're residents. So it's a little bit different living here on campus. But as a commuter or transfer student, if you're visiting the residence halls, please understand that there's a certain set of expectations for the residence halls. We do not allow alcohol. We are a drug-free campus, so those are violations under responsibility. I'll talk about that a little bit later. And as well as violations of the law. Our policies are not criminal, although we do have a campus police here on campus. But the code of conduct is separate from any legal processes, but you can be held accountable to both systems. You asked me how so. Well, let's take alcohol, for example. Because alcohol is not allowed here on campus, not even if you're 21, the state of New Jersey says 21 is the age in which you can consume alcohol. It is not allowed in our residence halls, even if you are 21. If you happen to get caught with alcohol in the residence halls, campus police may show up, maybe not, maybe it's the hall director or a resident assistant. If campus police show up, you are liable to get a ticket or a summons for drinking. If you're 21 and you've provided alcohol, you may also get a summons or charge for distributing alcohol. And what that means is then you'll have to go to Union Municipal Court where you'll be paying fines upwards of $300. That's a lot of money if you ask me. If you got $300 for a drink, can I borrow some? Because that's a lot of money, right? So we want to keep you free from that, as well as narcotics. So that's how you can be held accountable to both systems. You are responsible for the code of conduct at all times. Now that you've agreed to be a part of this community, we have an expectation of behavior. While we are not engaged in your private life or what you do when you're not here, we do recognize that for the most part, we are a large commuter school. And lots of our students, although they may come from different places, they do like to live with each other, particularly groups of our athletic teams, maybe Greek affiliation, etc. They may rent a house off campus. We do adjudicate off-campus behavior. It is on a case-by-case basis. We do have very close relationships with the surrounding municipality police departments. So while we don't own or control any of that property, once the neighbors become aware that groups of our students have rented homes next to them, I'm in a directory, Dr. Farahi is in the directory, and they have not a problem, not 1 ounce of a problem, contacting me directly to let me know that our students are causing problems in the neighborhood. All we really are encouraging students to do is to be responsible, be good neighbors. We don't recognize, again, Greek houses or athlete houses, but we recognize that they live there. And again, we want them to be good community members. But if campus police, sometimes, maybe Hillside Police may call our university police department to come out to assist. If they do, then that engages us in that conversation. Maybe that means we're calling you in and having a conversation with you. Maybe it means you actually are going to get a disciplinary record. I don't know. It's on a case-by-case basis. So just by raise of hand, how many majors are criminal justice? Okay. Counseling, teacher education. Okay. Bio majors, thinking about becoming doctors. Okay, a lot. Now, I don't know what you all want to do with those careers, but understand that if you want to do anything in the state of New Jersey that requires a license, they do a background check. Background checks means that, say you're criminal justice and you want to become a member of the police force. Right now, Port Authority is hiring. I'm doing a lot of background checks. Police departments, Port Authority police, they do very intense background checks. They want to know if you've been to an institution, have you had any disciplinary actions taken against you? Know that your record, should you get one while you're here, if it's a disciplinary matter, that record stays with you for 7 years past the time you are no longer affiliated with Kane. So that information, again, is information that can be relayed to that office Not to say you're not going to get that job, you're not going to go on to grad school, or for anyone that's doing the background check, it just might make it a little bit more difficult. So my best advice to you is, one, communicate, communicate, communicate. Communicate with your faculty if you're having issues or struggling in class. Come communicate with me if you're having some other issues. You know, we always want our students to report things. We have an online reporting system. We operate like the Port Authority. If you see something, say something. But before you become involved in an incident, and trust me, you will have lots of choices to make while you're here. That is what college life is about. That's what university life is about. That's what being young is about, is making those decisions that are going to propel you to the next phase of your life. So when you have those tough choices to make, maybe I'm going to be that little birdie on your shoulder. Ms. Rodriguez said, don't do that. You know, listen to your first voice. And if you make the wrong decisions, we're always here to support you and help you get through them. But when you know, just understand how your choices and how the decisions that you're going to make, how they're going to affect your later on decisions, okay? Some safety initiatives, you may or may not have heard some of these things through this orientation process, but these are 3 things that are very necessary for all of our students to do. One is we want every student to obtain a student ID card, a photo ID card, which you can get in the administration building and student accounting on the 3rd floor. This is, again, just a safety initiative. These are things we feel are going to keep the campus safe. Second, we want every student to register their cars. I'm assuming, again, raise your hand, most of you were all commuters. Every car that you park here on the Kane campus has to be registered with the parking office. Doesn't matter how many vehicles you have. If you share a vehicle with someone, maybe you have mom's car one day, dad's car another, or you're borrowing a car, you still have to register your car. If you are living on campus and you're not driving a car, you still have to go into the system to opt out. So you have to tell the system, I'm not driving a car. Same thing if you're a commuter. If you're taking the train, the bus, or for your Uber, you still have to tell the system, I'm not driving. Just make sure that all your cars are registered here with the parking office. And the third thing is registering for Campus Alert. They've changed our website. I'm sorry I can't show you. I don't know exactly where it is. It used to be a little bell at the bottom of the website. But if you go in and search MIR3, that will take you to the system to register for Campus Alert. This is something that's very critical for all of our students to stay connected, because this is how we alert you when things happen on campus. We actually had some issues in the library over the summer. Campus Alert sends that alert out, stay away from the library until we've determined what's going on. Once everything was cleared, it then alerted us to say everything is okay. As we get into inclement weather, when it starts snowing and we have storms, Campus Alert will let you know, don't come to campus, the campus is closed, right? We all want to have that. We can just turn over and get that extra little bit of sleep in the morning. I live for snow days, okay? And here's, just to sum up, just 5 things I think every student should know. Most of these presentations really are geared towards our freshman population, which is a very vulnerable population, but as well as our transfer students. One, you probably have already gotten used to a climate or a culture at the institutions that you're transferring from, and you'll now have to ease into some things that may or may not be a little bit different here at Kane. So one of the things is hazing. It is not very prevalent here on campus, and I'm pretty sure you all know what hazing means, right? Right? So what groups do we think are guilty of hazing or probably involved in it? Just shout it out. Sororities, right? Fraternities, maybe even sometimes athletic teams. So that is one thing we do not tolerate here at Kane. If a group is saying to you, we need for you to complete X, Y, and Z, things that are making you feel humiliated, embarrassed, physically exhausted, if that's a condition for you to get into the organization, that could constitute hazing. Hazing violates our code of conduct, and it is actually a violation of law. Even if you agree that, okay, yes, I'm going to do, 25, well, I'm not even going to say 25, because 25 push, I don't know, I can't even do 1 push-up. Let's just say jumping jacks. Man, we do jumping jacks, maybe you got to do 100 jumping jacks, and then they're going to tell you to chug a gallon of vodka or something really crazy, right? I think, anybody see What Would You Do? They have that episode where they're hazing people and people walking by, they're participating and watching. But in any case, We definitely don't want our students to involve themselves in that behavior. You know, one of the things we know is that as we open up and make higher education more available to people, we have a special population of students that come here. We have a veteran population. We have students here coming with certain disabilities. A lot of students are medicated now. And you don't know where someone is coming from. And if you put someone through some process to get into a group that's unnecessary, you could be bringing up a lot of things that may have happened, and it could cause big problems, not only for us institutionally, but for the groups doing that. So we want you to be aware that that is something we don't tolerate, and we really want you to come and let us know what's happening. Our drug policies and alcohol policies, I'm not sure, am I able to go to the links from the policies? So if you click that on the PowerPoint. Our drug policies and alcohol policies are found in a document that we call the Annual Campus Security and Fire Safety Report. This report is published every year, and by law, we have to let students, incoming students, know that it is published on our website. This document actually houses mostly all of our safety protocols and policies here on campus, as well as our drug and alcohol policies. It talks about our crime statistics, so if you're interested in knowing what types of crimes here happen on campus. Another issue, well, we talked about MIR 3 with the campus alert system. We also have blue phones here on campus, and the blue phones are strategically located around the perimeter of the campus. And when you pick up a blue phone in an emergency, what that does is dispatches right to Kane Police. If you call Kane Police, even from your cell phone, if you dial 911, all those calls are dispatched directly to our campus police department. Campus police, once you've made that emergency phone call, have a 90-second response time to anywhere here on campus. The only exception, although it might be still 90 seconds, is the East Campus. The East Campus is actually located in the township of Hillside, so sometimes those calls may ping to the township police. But in any case, you know that you can get that information there. And then the next one on the slide is Step Up. Step Up is a bystander prevention program, and I am a little bit close to time, so I'm not going to show the video. But what Step Up it does, and I encourage you to become engaged. If you actually see us doing this presentation throughout the semester, please take a part of it. It's one of those things that we do to let our students know we want to hear from you. We want you to take ownership for what goes on here on campus. It empowers our students to determine what their conflict resolution style is. You may be the type of person who, when you see something happening, you jump in to try to save the day. One of the things we don't ever want a student to do is to insert themselves in a situation that could become dangerous for them. So if you do happen to see students fighting or arguing, sometimes jumping in, we don't want you to get hurt in the middle of that, right? So an indirect way of helping, just call 911. Call campus police and alert them that something is going on. Direct helping is that way of getting involved in that situation. So we do encourage our students to step up. So Step Up, again, informs you of what you can do to help, how you can help, and to become alert. We all need to be aware of what's going on around us. I mean, even in this room alone, when you walked into this room, did you say to yourself, let me figure out an evacuation plan in case something happens? Did anybody do that? Only a handful, right? Usually when you go to the movies, there's a big screen that tells you, please look out for your exits. A lot of people don't do that. We kind of meander through life, just assuming everything is going to be okay. We're not really alert of things that are going on, but we want you to do that. We want you to start learning that while you're here. And then the next thing is sexual misconduct. It is not a very comfortable topic to talk about, but it is something, again, we do have to inform of all of our students. We're required by law. When sexual misconduct or assault happens here on this campus, we, again, are by law, have to conduct investigations. We have to make sure that it isn't pervasive. We did have some sexual assaults to be reported in our annual security report, and again, you can check those statistics there. But it is something, again, we want to inform our students, and it can be quite a devastating thing for anyone to become involved in, if you're a victim, if you're the perpetrator. One of the things we really want to inform our students of is consent. We want to create a culture of consent. Consent means that two people that are engaging in a sexual activity are agreeing that whatever that sexual activity is, that it's going to happen, right? That you're getting an affirmative yes, that it is going to happen. Again, when affirmative consent is not obtained, those cases end up finding their way to my office. But we do want our students to be aware, we're going to believe you, right? I think that's a lot of things of what we've been seeing in society now with the Me Too movement is that people haven't come forward and made it a point to let someone know that they've been offended or have been assaulted in that way. And we still haven't put our finger on it here in higher education as to why our students don't come forward more often. I don't know. But what I do know is that when students come to me, it's something that we do take very serious, and we want to make sure we're helping you through. So we have some resources here on campus. The resource guide on sexual misconduct is one of those things that's available on our website. They're paper copies located in campus police, in the Vice President for Student Affairs, my office, the residence halls. We have them strategically placed around campus. Online, you'll see here there's a link. It says, click here to file an incident report. Anytime a student is a victim of this or someone comes to you and says that it's happened, we want you to know. Again, we have that the incident report form online, and you can fill out a report there. We have some resources here. I think I'm doing good with time. Can we show the video on consent? Can we click the consent icon for the video? This is a short video that some of our students put together about consent. It does have sound.
She was asking for
I heard they
it.
were
She
good
sleeps
friends.
around.
She came on to him. Look at what she's wearing. She was asking for it.
She never says no.
Once we got started, I couldn't stop.
You may have heard explanations such as these for why it wasn't rape, as if the rapist is not responsible for their behavior while drunk. Courts have held that even perpetrators who have blacked out due to alcohol or drug consumption are responsible for their behavior. Ultimately, having sex is a mutual decision. Both parties must be aware and sober enough to understand their decisions. No means no. I'm not in the mood means no. Silence means no. I really like you but means no. I'm not sure means no. Only yes means yes. This brings us to the date rape drug. You should know that the #1 date rape drug is alcohol, and that others include Rohypnol, GHB, and ketamine, which have a variety of street names. Remember that the taste of date rape drugs are often disguised in drinks, especially sweet ones, and your drink does not need to be alcoholic to be spiked. Symptoms can include loss of coordination, problems seeing or focusing, dizziness, and slurred speech. So be aware. Trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, get somewhere safe. Help a friend get to safety. It can save your life. It can save your friend's life.
You may be wondering, what if two people who have been drinking hook up? Hooking up implies that both people involved still have the capacity to consent. But when is that line crossed?
If the person you are with is slurring his or her words, falling down, or passing out, that person is no longer able to consent. Alcohol affects people differently. Remember, if you are taking prescription drugs, alcohol can affect you more than usual.
You may have noticed that these presentations focus on female victims. We can't ignore the statistics that women experience 96% of sexual violence in our society.
But men can and do experience rape, sexual harassment, domestic or dating violence, and stalking. Sexual assault also happens within the LGBTQ community, and we are here to help you too.
Okay, for the sake of time. Okay, the last couple of slides here really just talk about the resources, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So again, my presentation not only focuses on community values, but we do talk a lot about sexual misconduct, we talk about alcohol, we talk about drugs. And a lot of the things, and one of the things I know, and trust me with the gray hair, I've been here a long time, I know, right, is that these three things we know can severely impact your ability to be here. So again, with student affairs, our responsibility to our students is development, and letting you know that when you become involved in these things, they have the capacity to kind of put a halt or an end to your college career. Some of you all as transfer students are probably pretty much established in your thought processes and maybe a little bit more focused in where you want to go, and hopefully you won't ever get caught up in any of this behavior, but understand if you do, we are here to help you. So one of the things when we talk about consent and reporting is we have two different reporting areas here on campus. So there is a big difference between confidential and private. Confidential reporting areas are these 4 areas: counseling center, health services, student support advocate, and campus ministry. These are 4 areas, and they're all located in Downs Hall, that you can go to when you want to talk to someone confidentially. Confidentially means those individuals are not able or permitted to relay your information to any other administrator here at Kane. It's like a doctor-patient privilege. So once you go to them and you tell them something has happened, all they're responsible for is letting us know the statistics. So if you do go in and says that I was assaulted or I was harassed or something happened, and you're not really sure about what you want to do, I really would suggest going to the student support advocate. That person is trained to talk to you about the process, let you know exactly what could or couldn't happen. But again, they're not responsible for relaying that information forward. So they are confidential. Reporting areas that are private, meaning we may have to share information, really depending upon what it is: our university police, the Office of Affirmative Action, which is located in Townsend Hall. My office is located in the Myron Student Center on the 3rd floor, and Residential Student Services. So if you do go to any of these areas to report that something happened, we are all obligated by law to start an investigation. It really depends upon the situation. All of your student fees pay for services in the counseling center and the health services. There may be some things in health services that you may have to pay for, but certainly if you do go to those offices for services, you will not have to pay any fees. Now, was anybody surprised by anything in that consent video? I didn't do a little check-in, right? So we're pretty much on task with knowing that we have to obtain consent when it isn't obtained, especially when there's diminished capacity. And what diminished capacity means is that once you've consumed so much alcohol or you've consumed drugs to the point where you're slurring your words or you can't stand up or you're not focusing, et cetera, you're not making good choices. So you're under the influence is what we call it. And that's diminished capacity, meaning you cannot give consent. So we've done this over probably the past year. We'll be doing more promotion on our medical amnesty policy. What medical amnesty means for us is that, say you are involved in an incident where, you and a friend have been drinking an awful lot of alcohol, but you know that your friend needs more help, right? Maybe you think getting them back to campus, maybe having them go to their room and go to sleep will be, fine. That'll be it. One of the things you don't ever want to do is with someone who's intoxicated is to not be attentive to them. We all heard about what happened at Penn State and a young man who lost his life because he had consumed so much alcohol. We share a story of a team, I believe it happened at Lehigh University, don't quote me on that, but I do know it did happen, is that there was a group of lacrosse students who had gone to a party and they were all drinking, had come back to the residence halls. It was both women and men, and one of the men players, he wasn't feeling so good, and he says, oh, let me go to the bathroom. So he goes to the bathroom, they hear a loud thud, not really sure what happened. He comes out and he's like, I'm just gonna lay down and go to sleep. Now, they had all had an awful lot of alcohol, but they started to recognize something wasn't right about him. He had gone to sleep. So what they did was they called their coach and said, Coach, something's going on with him. We don't know what's wrong. He says, call 911. They call 911. He goes to the hospital. Ultimately, that young boy lost his life. Now, it was not an alcohol-induced death. What they believe might have happened is that he went to the bathroom. When they heard that thud, he might have hit his head. That head injury may have caused an aneurysm and caused his brain to bleed. That is what he actually died from. So one of the things we don't want to do is to leave people alone who are under the influence. They're saying they're not feeling well. We really want them to get help. Now, maybe that group of students didn't want to call their coach in the first place because they knew that they all probably shouldn't have been drinking alcohol. If they had called, if something like that had happened here and those students called, we would offer them medical amnesty because what they did was to secure help for someone who really needed it. Now, what that means with medical amnesty is that you will not be charged with an alcohol or a drug violation. Doesn't mean we're not going to have a conversation with you about your behavior. We will still require you to go for alcohol or drug education classes in our counseling center, but you won't get that disciplinary record, right? Because a couple slides ago I said you get that disciplinary record, right? How it can affect you. So we really want students to know that even if you're doing something wrong, understand that we will give you amnesty in certain, that doesn't mean every weekend you go out and get drunk and if you help somebody you don't get charged. That's not what it means. It means really if you're assisting in securing help for someone. Also, if you're even not here on campus with medical amnesty, the state law is actually called NJ 911. It does the same thing. If there is an alcohol or a drug-related incident, you call the police to get help for someone, you won't get charged, especially if you're underage. Also, definitely for our students that are residents, bring your ID, take your cash, your Cougar card, get back into the residence halls. It's really just about maintaining safety. When you're out, you're partying and having a good time, know how you're getting home. We tell this to all our students, and again, it's not just about getting back here to campus. Uber's a great thing. I discovered it like a year ago. I don't know why I didn't go on Uber, but Uber's great, right? 5 friends, $1 each, right? Who can afford $1 to stay safe? Next is to be conscious of your surroundings. I do have a quick video. Oh, is he getting up? I got a quick video there for just a really quick, funny video.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
How many?
The answer is 13.
Keep on going, it's 13, but
But did you see the moonwalking bear?
did you see it? Right? This isn't our video. This is actually a video about watching out for bicyclists. But it's important nonetheless, right? When you're focused on, what were we focused on? The team passing the ball, right? That's what we were focused on, and we missed the bear. That's how we walk through life sometimes. You're so focused on one thing. We're a society of walking around in our cell phones, tripping and falling into ponds and everything. We got some bridges around here. Don't do that, people. That's not a fun look, right? We want you to be conscious of your surroundings. We want you to stay engaged with what's going on. When you're out there, don't leave your cup unattended. This is one of the things, again, we don't promote underage drinking, but we do recognize the fact that it's going to happen. So we want to be proactive. We're coming from, just be aware of what you're consuming, right? Because we all know what jungle juice is, right? Don't try. Who said no? You said no? What's in jungle juice? Everything, right? Everything but the kitchen sink, right? So again, with that, we just want to educate our students. One of the things we talk about, again, when we're doing our alcohol program is that, on this college level, they're using an alcohol called Everclear. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, right? Everclear, they actually tell you don't even take a shot of it because it can burn your esophagus, right? Next to rubbing alcohol, it has it's very high content of alcohol. But they mix it in the jungle juice because it's odorless, it's tasteless, and they put all that fruit punch and all that good tasting stuff in it, and you're drinking, chugging away. We have a lot of students who are like, I only had 1 cup, right? 1 cup of, red cups, those are some pretty big cups, right? So again, we don't want you to get caught up in that. We want you to be educated. Have a buddy system. If you go to a party, stay together, leave together, have that person that's going to watch out. Watch your social media posting. We are not, again, involving ourselves in the private lives of our business, but if social media postings do happen to find their way to our office, we will have to take action on it. A couple years ago, I had a student, he got very intoxicated. He decided that he was going to kick over every garbage can from Vaughn Ames all the way back to the residence halls. Right? Somebody put it on Snapchat. And that Snapchat video came back to mom and was like, hey, those are our garbage cans. You can't be doing that. So he had to go through a process. And two, if you have to retrace your night by looking at your social media posting, well, it might have been a good night. I don't know. But you want to be careful, right? You don't want to have to do that to remember. And lastly, get consent. We really want our students to communicate with each other, communicate with us so that we can prevent those types of things from happening. Now, this is your first test. It's the first test you're going to have to take. So every student here who watched this presentation, please take out your cell phones, type this into your browser, and then there's a 4-question survey. I'm going to just give you 5 minutes to do that. If you can't get to the link, it's fine. I really just want to get assessment and gauge exactly how attentive you really were through my presentation. I'll just give you a few seconds to do that. I have 4 t-shirts left. I don't want to take them back to my office. So I'm going to give an opportunity. Look, he's like, I want a shirt. I'm going to give an opportunity. You can either ask a question, tell me what you'll do differently, or something that you've learned new that you didn't know before. Would you like to answer that, young man? You raised your hand or you had another question? No questions? Okay. 4 t-shirts. Anybody? Yes. Okay, very good. Please come and get your t-shirt. So she didn't know that we had, or that there was a difference between confidential and private. That's something that's very important. Sometimes students don't really know. They want to keep things confidential. They don't want it to be relayed back to anyone. Yes, in the red shirt. I said that. Yes, the Myron Student Center, room 3. I didn't say my room number. I said, maybe I did, I don't know. In the Myron Student Center, room 317. But you can come get a shirt. Anyone else? I think I have 3 more, right? 3 more? Yes.
So for health services, do they only provide counseling or do they provide like medical?
No, health services provides medical services. They have get yourself tested. They do prescribe medications. Counseling center is our center that provides counseling services. We have a psychiatrist on staff. They are located both in Downs Hall. Your immunization records also have to be sent over to health services. If you want to stay connected with health services, I believe they are HR nurses if you have a question or want to schedule an appointment. But you can get a t-shirt. Yes? There are no fees. Your student fees pay for health services. However, there may be some things that you do have to pay for, certain tests and all. You still may have to pay for that. And before everyone leaves, I see some people leaving, just a couple of housekeeping rules. If you are attending the session on getting involved at Kane, because of the response, we want you to stay here in this room for getting involved at Kane. The next session that also has been changed location is our financial aid presentation. That also is taking place in this room. All the times are still the same, but we've just changed the location. We have, I think I have 1 more shirt. Yes. I'm sorry? Opt out of medical insurance. We do not require our students to get medical insurance, but if you have any medical questions, please make sure to check the website. But no, we don't require our students because everyone in the United States is required to have health care, so we don't require that they have medical insurance, okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good luck and welcome to Kane.